What is up? Coach Emma here, and welcome back to the Fit Habit Life podcast, where we cut through the noise, talk real health and fitness, sustainable fat loss, and habits that actually work. And today, I've got a super special guest on with me, Brian Hurst. Am I saying your last name right?
You are, absolutely.
Okay, sweet. So, we met online. We have a lot in common. We coach similar demographics, and he's an awesome coach, so I wanted to have him on to tell his story. So, introduce yourself.
So my name's Brian. I mainly coach metabolic adaptation clients. And it was kind of like, it became a passion because I was originally like, I got up to like 336 pounds and took that. And I had no concept of how to do it. Like I was always the fat kid growing up, and I went from that to I wound up losing a little bit of weight in high school, but it was like nothing really sustainable. I had this class like physical conditioning, so like for like 6 months of my life, I lifted weights, and then I hit the college phase where it wasn't like I wasn't even going to college, but I was like had a bunch of friends there, so I was always going to the parties, and it turned into major like self sabotage and lots of gas station food, pizzas and stuff like that, and it just all compounded over time. And so I got up to 336 pounds, and it was crazy. So like I started dating my wife, but we were like long distance relationship. So I wound up moving up here to the UP. And shortly before our wedding, I stepped on the scale, like went to a doctor's appointment, like I don't even remember what for, but my blood pressure was like sky high, and I stepped on the scale and it was like 336 pounds, and I'm just like, holy shit, I had no idea I was that heavy. And so I went online like a lot of people do, and I started looking up advice. And of course, back then, like the information wasn't the greatest. This was like 7 years ago. So I went on Google and I'm like, okay, I want to do this fast. Big mistake right there. So instead of doing it the right way, I'm just like, okay, let's do it the fast way. So I started walking and I looked up like how much calories, like the minimum a man should be eating, like no concept, just like
Wow.
started eating 1,500 calories a day and started walking, which walking was good, but not so much the 1,500 calories. And it was like no macro tracking. Like I was eating like turkey sandwiches for lunch and whatever my wife cooked. And that kind of spiraled. I wound up starting going to the gym. And at like 300 plus pounds, I had like no strength, no mobility. So I couldn't do a whole lot. So I'm like looking at these workout routines, and I had a little bit of strength, like I could do like the machines and stuff. But then I discovered the rowing machine, and that's when it started going crazy because it started off like I'd do a 20-minute session, and then I discovered hit cardio, and then oh my God, like I'd start upping it, and gradually over time that got out of control. Like I got to the point where um I would start doing like hours of cardio on end, like over the progression. Like I'd add 10 minutes, 10 minutes. And it got so bad to like the point where I started, um, I would basically try to burn off every calorie I had in my system. Like I
Wow.
wasn't tracking the most accurately, but it was just like so like I'd be like, okay, so this app tells me I'm burning 2,000 calories, and like it was just major self sabotage. And then it got worse. I had lost quite a bit of weight at this point, but I saw this doctor and I had ulcerative colitis. So she's a gut health doctor,
Oh,
and she tells me, yeah, you need to avoid potatoes, red meat, and dairy. So, like, majorly restricting me right there, not knowing the tendencies I already had. So like the next few days I went into like I'm like, all right, well, you're just taking everything away, so I'm just gonna go vegan because that's basically what you told me. So I went vegan for like a couple weeks, realized that
wow.
sucked. So I started
Yeah.
incorporating like a pescatarian diet for a while, and that was like it just kept getting more disordered the more I got into it. And then I did low carb for a little while, and my mindset was like so messed up with that because it was just like I was every day I was looking at the scale, and I'm like it was like a dopamine hit just getting that. So it was like, all right, so it keeps going down. Then I remember one day I just like freaked because like literally all I ate was like some cauliflower, and the next day the scale was up. It was just like, oh my God. So I went into sabotage mode,
Weird.
started fasting. So I started with the 8 hour windows, and I'm like, okay, this is working. All right. So then that stopped working. So I started doing one meal a day, and that worked for a while until it didn't. And then I started going on like the 3 day windows, like religiously. And it was
Wow.
like super low calorie. Like there were days I would be like 800 calories and just like, or less. I was like
Man.
so freaking orthorexic. Like to the point, like I went to my sister-in-law's house for dinner, and they're like farmer people, and I'm like still scared to eat anything they have there because of what this doctor told me. And then like on top of all this, I'm like not gaining weight or not losing weight. And so all this is compounding in my mind. And like I kept up with this for a while, and it got to the point where I was like physically ill because of it. And I remember like I would like just get so out of it, like headaches and all this, because I was really scared of fat because I knew fat was more calorically dense. So that made it even worse. So, and I remember one day it was just really bad. I had like a headache, and I took my wife out to dinner. I'm like, I don't even care right now. I ordered a stromboli. I ate the whole freaking thing. And like within an hour later, I started feeling good again. But like that was the point where I realized I'm like, this is messed up. Like I'm not doing the right thing, but I still kept trying for a while. And then it was like I finally reached my goal. I wanted to get down to 180, and I still hated what I saw in the mirror. So it was like this constant struggle. I get down to like 177, and like that was the lowest I get, and I'd bounce back up. And it was a long time before I finally discovered reverse dieting. So I tried my first reverse diet. I was still scared of fat, so I was like max getting like 40 grams of fat a day.
Wow.
And like, so I would go up from there. Um, and it was mainly protein and carbs. And I got up to 2,200, and I still wasn't where I wanted to be, but I felt a lot better. And I started like, a lot of the people don't tell you that, like, they'll tell you how to diet, but they won't tell you how to come off a diet. And it's like all this diet culture nonsense, calories in, calories out. Yeah, that makes sense if you're metabolically healthy. But like me being like that far gone, it was just like a struggle to get back to that. So then I hung out there for a while around 2,200 for a couple years, really. And then I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to start reverse dieting again. And I started bumping that up. And I finally got to the point, really, a couple of years ago, I got my maintenance calories up to like 2,700 and started actually building muscle, getting myself healthy. And so that's pretty much my story of how I got to where I am. And that's what motivated me to become a coach, because I see people, they either start like I did, or they've tried everything. They've got to a point where it's like, okay, nothing's working. Like I've had clients come to me. I had this one woman come to me, and she was literally eating 500 calories a day. And it's like, oh my God.
Oh
And I
man.
had to tell her, I'm like, I cannot ethically put you on a cut right now. Like that goes
That
against
would
my,
be no
yeah.
calories, basically.
Yeah, I'm like, I had to explain to her, I'm like, you're suffering from something called metabolic adaptation. Like, the only way out of this is we have to up your calories. And that's kind of like my whole coaching philosophy, whether it is a fat loss client or a metabolically adapted client. I always add into their diet. I never take anything away because I know what kind of things that can play on your mind. It's like, oh, I can't have this. And I'm like, yeah, just like that gut health doctor that told me I couldn't have red meat and cheese. And like, yeah. So I always
Yeah.
just add in, and it psychologically plays that game where they're like always adding, chasing something. So,
Yeah, yeah, same here. Personally, right now, I'm on a gut health protocol, and I don't drink a lot, like maybe once a month, usually not even. But because I'm not allowed to right now, the only thing I want is a beer.
oh
And
my
I so yeah, it's the worst way to do it, and it's funny because a lot of my clients too will talk about like, hey, like we're gonna like, what do I remove? What do I need to start doing? And it's like, no, we need to add in protein. You're eating 50 grams a day, dude. Like you need to eat more protein. And what happens, as I'm sure you know, it's like they remove the other foods that are either higher in calories or aren't serving them as well, right?
Oh yeah, it's just like by proxy that's going to happen once you start adding in, and it's like I have clients that come to me and they're like, "You want me to eat more?" Like I had this lady come to me, she was around 1,500. I got her up to 2,200, and I'm like, "Yeah, we're gonna keep adding to this." And like, cause she was just like leaning out, like the scale wasn't moving, but she was leaning out, and it's just like, "Yeah, you're kicking ass." And like she was just like, "Oh my God, I don't know if I can handle it anymore." And I'm like, just trust me, like add some peanut butter, add some like olive oil, something like that. You won't even notice it. And I just keep adding these things, and they're like, a lot of them don't understand it, and they're like, "You're raising my calories, and I'm leaning out." I'm like, I know that's how it works. So
It's pretty crazy. I've so our stories are different. I didn't like I overdid the exercise, but it was to compensate for foods. So like I was working out 4 hours a day, but then I would like save all my calories to the end of the day so I could eat like this, I don't know, big meal or have a bunch of beer or whatever, like kind of that unhealthy thing. But um that's crazy what you went through, and how did you come out of it though? Because
uh,
like
like,
you was it that bowl
oh,
of pasta, or what was it?
it was a stromboli. So like that like was the point that made me realize that like I had an eating disorder, and I knew it was bad. I mean, I kind of knew it was bad before then. Like, I mean, obviously, it's like, okay, I'm skipping food every 2 to 3 days, but that was the realization. But I still didn't want to do anything about it because I was so fixated on that number on the scale, and like, I hated the way my body looked because it's like, they don't like, they'll tell you now, like, you lose weight, you're going to have like the loose skin and all that. But it's just like, even now, like I don't feel like I'm at my body fat percentage that like the DEXAs will show, because it's like there's so much loose skin. I don't look like everybody else, but it's just like it is what it is. Like I have people that look at me like I have this loose skin on my neck right here, and it's like it makes me look like I'm like 20 pounds over what I am on camera. It's crazy. But it's like I've learned to live with it. It's like whatever, because I would rather be the way I am now than the way I was. Like I was just thinking about it the other night. Like I rolled over in bed and all of a sudden, so my right shoulder's messed up, but my left, I roll over and all of a sudden my trap just like gets so frickin' tense. And I'm like, I was thinking like how much worse that would have been if I was still 336 pounds, if I'd even be around right now. But yeah, it was crazy. And I think about that like every day, like how much easier stuff is compared to how it was. It's like,
I'm sure. I never got up to 300, but I was a D1 athlete, so I was like working out 4 hours a day. I was 215 pounds, and like not. I had some muscle, but it was like my body fat percentage was like way too high. I was always tired. Always felt like crap. I didn't sleep, low energy, all the things, and like you said, I mean, it's not as big of a difference, but I personally, like, I notice a huge difference in my quality of life. And I think that's really underrated. Like, people don't talk about that enough. People always focus on the number on the scale, what size clothes they fit in, or physically, how you look, I guess, right? But it's like, and I have a client right now. She was only sleeping 3 to 4 hours every night because she was so stressed and under eating. Now she's sleeping 9, 7, 8 hours, but her clothes fit a little bit tighter, and she's like bummed out. And I'm like, dude, you like doubled the amount of sleep that you were getting before, and you have more energy.
Yes.
Like,
Oh my God.
I, I wish it. I wish more people, because I still focus on that stuff too. I have a disordered relationship with the scale. I used to only weigh myself after I would do a bunch of cardio in the morning and sweat.
Yeah, I actually have this philosophy with my clients. I will not even touch the scale unless they insist on it because it's like, people get obsessed with that. So, like, all my check-ins are non-scale victories. It's like, all right, how's your energy? How's your sleep? Your mood? I will do like clothing fit, feeling better, but it's just like I'm not attached to the scale and I want to detach them from the scale because it's just like it only shows gravity and people see that going up and it's like no, you're putting on so much muscle, like just and then if I have to I'll be like, all right, let's take some progress pictures. I always do like one when they first start and then it's like, okay, let's take a picture and I'm going to show you exactly how you're leaning out if that's the issue, but it's like so, like, I seldom use the scale, and that's like only if they insist because it's so easy to get a disordered relationship with the scale. And
Yeah, I was just gonna say same here because like that client that I was just talking about, I do not have her use the scale because she still fixates on that number, and it's a hard pattern to break. And sometimes she'll step on it and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And it totally wrecks her mental state, even if like those other markers are improving, like the sleep, the stress, the recovery, strength. Like, you're getting stronger. This woman is getting PRs every week. But
oh my God.
I know, I'm like, dude, you're like getting so strong. I
Yeah.
wish understood. I hope she listens to this. I'm not gonna call her out, but she knows who she is. Um, yeah, but that's so important, especially with the population that you tend to work with too, because they were like prime diet culture.
Oh yeah, and that's like I tell them I'm like I don't start with a diet because just about anybody that comes to a coach, they've tried a lot of things and it's like they have to some degree they have some sort of metabolic adaptation. Irregardless, most likely. I've never had I mean, unless you're like extremely overweight, then we can start with that. But I still use the same philosophy we're adding in. We're not restricting because it's just like such a, I don't know. Can I swear on here?
Yes.
It's a mind fuck. It
Yeah.
really is for them when they restrict because it's like, okay, I can't have this. And then they rebel. They're like, oh my God, this is all I want now that you told me I can't have it. And it's just goes back to that. And like I've had a client, and she might listen to this too, so this might be a good thing. But like she came to me and she was like running 4 days a week for like an hour, or yeah, 4 days a week for like an hour, very little strength training. And I got her to buy into the reverse diet, start lifting, and I'm like, we're no cardio. I'm like, and she was like fiending for it, and I'm like, like just let's focus on strength training. Let's focus on getting your metabolism boosted. And she's like leaning out like crazy. She's like 52 years old and like she's out lifting some of the guys I see at my gym like crazy. Oh my God, this is amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, and most of these women have never tried to get strong or put on muscle. at all, like ever.
No, and a lot of them don't know. Like they think the body type they want is like the skinny lean, and it's like, I'm sorry to tell you this, lady, but you got to put some muscle on to look like that. Like it 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 looks lean to them. They're like 120 pounds. I actually found a site online that I was showing like some of the girls that I work with because they're like, this one girl told me, I want to get down to 120 pounds, and I'm like, don't, like you do not. So I pulled up a picture of like there, I can't remember what it is, but there's like it would show like these fitness models at this weight, and I'm like, this is what 120 pounds look like. I'm like, this is what 160 pounds looks like. Which would you rather be? And she was like 160. I'm like, all right, let's do this. So it's
Yeah. It's when I also like I got kind of leaner, and it was like kind of the same thing. Like I look at back then I didn't even really take progress pictures or anything, but I was like, wow, I'm like 155 pounds. And it was like I was like really small. Like I didn't have a lot of muscle definition or whatever. I'm like 6 feet tall for reference. Um and I'm like now looking back, I'm like I look better now and I weigh more, but it's because you can see like I have muscle, I'm strong, I have like more shape to my body instead of like looking like a tiny like scrawny thing.
Yeah, definitely. So that's kind of part of the reason, like, you've seen the series I've kind of started doing on Instagram. Like, I think a lot of people think it's fake or they think it's a longer because, like, those 3 weeks, I bumped my calories up like 700 calories between those three pictures. And they're like, looking at it, I'm like, yeah, no, that's really 3 weeks. That's like what steady reverse dieting will do to you. Like, I was in a 2,000 calorie for maintenance there for a while. I stuck it out like 3 months, cut down to 2,000, and then bam, 3 weeks I'm back up to 2,700 and leaning out. So it's like if you stick with this process long enough, your body adapts to low calories, but it also adapts to the high calories, and you can actually use that to your advantage. Like everybody's like, "Oh, you shouldn't bulk. You shouldn't bulk." I'm like, I'm bulking. I don't care what you say. We're gonna do this. Like I've actually had haters in the comments like, you should probably cut. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna cut. And then 3 weeks later, here we are, and I'm on like the last part of my reverse diet before I start cutting again for a little bit. And it's like today I am cutting. It should be a bulk day, but I had like the 4th of July and all that. So I'm like, I'm gonna take one day easy and then I'll ease into it because I was doing 2,700, and I'm like, I don't even know how high I can get this, but I think I'm going to aim for like 28 this week and then just lead out from there because I'm already like putting the oils and stuff, peanut butter, and like just trying to get my calories up. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and it's
Expect,
hard to eat that much if you eat whole foods, which like people don't understand too. Like I think
yeah,
like if you like I'm assuming for the most part like we have very similar philosophy. It's like probably 80-20 or more, like 80% whole foods.
yeah,
And it's a
definitely.
lot to eat that.
Oh my
Like
God. Especially when you're bulking, it's like so hard. Like you got to get creative, like swapping out for like fattier cuts. And still, I still have that orthorexic mindset. Like I still will incorporate fats, but I'm like more, I don't want to go over. So like I will still do the lean cuts, and then I'm like, if I have to, I'll add in some fats later. Like I'm adding fats throughout the day, but then I'm like, okay, it's 7 o'clock. I'm about to cut off food here. I'm gonna have an apple with some peanut butter and just like round up my macros for the day, because it's just like my mindset that'll never go away. I'm just always afraid to go over, but it's like I've got to the point where I'm overcame. Like I don't care what the scale says. I don't care. Like the only thing I care about is how I feel and how I feel about myself at the end of the day. So it's like,
it's a constant struggle, and a lot of these like I still struggle with stuff too, like body image scale. I've conquered that thankfully because that was a big one for a while. But yeah, it's like how I look in the mirror or that sort of stuff like still gets me, and I think like most coaches have something like that, and I think a lot of people don't vocalize it as much as they should, because like they're like, oh, look at me, I'm like always happy and perfect and
Oh
yada
my
yada.
God.
Like the influencer, people, the like most disordered people on the internet.
Oh my God, that's been showing up so much in my feed lately, and I'm like, go away. Like, I'm like, there's these guys that, and this is why I hate the coaching space, is there's these guys that will literally fat shame people, and it's like, why do you want to be a coach? Like, obviously, you're not in it to help people, you're in it for money, and you think you're going to bully people into your coaching, and it's like, if you have any common nutrition certifications or anything, you should have learned some empathy. Like, no, I really wanted to react to that, but I'm like, nope, I'm gonna chill, lay low. But it's like, oh my God, it's getting bad.
Yeah, and the problem with the reaction sometimes too is it gives them more views, you know?
Yes. Yeah, and I don't want to draw attention to that at all, but it's like I am so against that style of coaching. It's just like if you're in it for the money, you're in the wrong business. I mean, yeah, there's money to be made here, but you know, to be a good coach, you actually have to care about your clients and care about results. Because if they don't like you, they don't trust you, they're not going to work out well for you. It's just, a lot of it's trust and understanding where they're coming from and meeting people where they're at.
Yeah. The best coaches have been there. Like hands down, like all the good coaches I know have struggled with something with their lives, which is why they coach. Like I don't I there was someone that I spoke with recently and I'm like, "Why are you a coach?" And he's like, "Because I can do it well." And I'm like, "So you like don't really care about like the people you're coaching, you're not passionate about helping people avoid the same things you went through." Like I'm like, because you're good at it, like okay, sure, it's a profession, but damn, like I don't understand that because this is
No,
not like it's not an easy job.
no, not at all. But it's like very rewarding though for what you get to do. Like, helping somebody because like some of these people, dang well, if they don't go to a coach, they're going to go back to their old ways. They're going to try something else, potentially make it worse. And I've actually, like, out of compassion, I have taken people on for free that couldn't afford it because I know that, like, there's no way I can let this person ethically do this without some sort of guidance. So it's like, even if you're not like, I mean, it's a rare circumstance, but if like I truly feel you need my help, I will help you. And people can come to me anytime. It's not just like clients. I get people at work asking me all the time, like, how do I do this? Or like, I feel like I'm gaining muscle, but the scale's not moving. And it's like, you're doing perfect. Like, just keep doing what you do. Throw your scale
Yeah.
away.
And I think, I mean, well, most of us, like, this is free. Like, coaches do like free stuff all the time too. Like, the ones that like really care, like, there's the ones, that do it to get the views or whatever. But, like, a lot of us, like, we get, like, the ones that care give out stuff and they don't really hold anything back. There aren't really any secrets. Like, everybody kind of knows what to do, kind of. They just need that, like, accountability
Yeah,
sometimes.
that's the huge part. That's the one thing I've noticed as a coach is like it's been so different because I'm holding myself accountable. I'm doing a damn good job at it, but it's just like it's so weird like to take that role yourself and it's like I'm so used to working with other people or having someone do like a diet or whatever with me and now it's just like this is all me. It's like there's definitely an art to it, especially if you're gonna guide yourself. Like you gotta know what you're doing.
Yes. And I just hired my first coach. I was like an athlete for my whole life. So when I didn't have to be controlled, like my when I could do what I wanted for my workouts and structure my nutrition how I liked and all that stuff, I wasn't really eager to sign up again. But I've learned a lot. It's only been like probably like 10 weeks or something. Maybe 12 weeks maybe. Anyway, I've learned a lot, and I'm like about my body because getting like a third person perspective on, hey, maybe I should probably try this other thing, or maybe this thing that I thought was good was actually derailing a lot of my progress and causing more stress.
Yeah. I've definitely come to learn my body though and what it responds to. Like I guarantee any other coach wouldn't have shot me up 700 calories in 3 weeks. So it's like, and I know I can handle that.
I I would not have done that. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
yeah,
get
for sure.
really aggressive with my reverse diets because I've been through it so many times to where it's like I know that with the training, if I balance it out just right, that it's going to respond like crazy, especially because this time I went really aggressive with it because I was coming off the shoulder injury. So I'm like, I know right now, like I was doing suspension training, but like literally 6 months ago, I was squatting 315 for three. And then like I come back and I'm like doing like 65 for 15. I'm like, oh my God, my quads were sore the next day. And I'm like, what the heck? Well, 2 weeks later, I realized I probably shouldn't be wearing squat shoes for that light of weight. So that was part of it because my ankle mobility was limited. So, but it's coming back like really quick. Like today, I did like the 135 for 15, which,
That's awesome.
yeah. So it's like my strength is coming back like crazy. And I'm probably pushing a little harder than I should, but it's just like, whatever. I don't care. Like I'm going easy on the shoulders, but like legs legs and shoulders are my like two best lifts, like anything with those two. So I'm like, I will baby my shoulders, but my quads, like, I don't know,
You
I
can
love training
handle it.
quads.
Makes sense. So how did you like, sorry, we kept totally like diverted from the question. Great conversation, but I'm really curious, like how did you decide to make those changes and like reverse out of your super extreme like orthorexic tendencies and start adding more stuff, and then besides the stromboli, like, and like start strength training and stuff?
So it was listening to Mind Pump, and like I heard Adam talking about reverse dieting and he explained it really well, and I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I'm gonna try it. That was my second reverse diet. The first one was just like I'm just gonna up my calories. I didn't really have a structure, but I'm like I know I need to come up because I can't live like this. But the second one was like more structured. I was following what the Mind Pump guys were talking about, and it was just like really detailed. And like I've done like reverse diets like 4 or 5 times now. It's like every time I come out of a cut, I will do one. Like I max cut for 3 months, and then it's like usually 2 to 3 months bulk. This one I'm doing a little different because I'm running a structured program, but I'm just like, okay, I'll do the mini cuts, I'll do the mini bulk, but like once I come off this, it's going to be full bulk mode for a few months because I want to see how high I can get my metabolism. Like, I don't know, it's kind of like one of those things, like, especially for the demographic that I work with, it's like I want to be able to show them you can eat more food and train your body to get to a certain maintenance and not have to worry about gaining fat. It's just a matter of the approach you take. Obviously, you got to strength train with that and can't go overboard with the bulk, but just learning how your body handles things over time, it's got to a point where it's like, it's just a science. I know my own self so well to where it's like, I can shoot up 700 calories and not worry about it. But as
I
far as
would,
clients, I take a slower approach, but
yeah, I'm gonna say clients listening to this, don't try to do that right away.
no, it definitely takes some time to get to that point. But like slowly adding in like 50, 100 calories every so often, like a week or so, see how you're doing and you write it out. Um, and just keep going up. Like, don't worry about that scale. Focus on your movements, your strength, sleep, energy, and all that, and how your clothes are fitting. And just throw the scale away. Honestly, if you can't handle the scale, put it in your closet for a few months, and then just check it. And you'll probably be surprised at what happens.
Yep, totally agree. Especially the like people, the chronic dieters, the kind of, or the very like high achiever type A sort of people that can kind of play with their head. I've noticed. So a lot of my clients. So yeah, definitely agree. And it's interesting. So like the process of like increasing calories, it most of these people, their bodies have adapted to just like do less throughout the day. So the more you fuel your body, the more you'll notice, hey, I have more energy. I'm actually moving more. I'm getting up and going on more walks. I'm getting stronger in the gym. And so that's why, like, as you're increasing the calories and stuff, your body is adapting positively because you don't have too much stress. You're not overtaxing your system. You're like working with your body. I think it's anyway. Sorry.
No, 100%. And it's like, people talk about metabolic adaptation and they talk about it like, okay, this is the floor, but there's also a ceiling to that. You can ramp it up like crazy if you just take it slow, trust the process, do your strength training. And the one thing too is like when you're doing that, you're getting that energy. So you're getting those more steps in. So your body's naturally burning more fat through those steps. And like, I will never prescribe a client cardio unless they come to me and they're like, I want to do something quick. And usually I'm against it, but I'm like, okay, we can do this, but we're going to only do this for a month, like out from your date of where you want to be, because I know if you stick with the cardio, eventually your body is going to adapt to that and you're just going to spend more energy chasing that. And it's like people don't get the walking actually does more work than the cardio over time. And the slow process it actually is the fast process if you stick with it. So it's like,
The interesting thing that I've noticed is like my clients who really like cardio and stuff, they're the like super high stress, like type A people that like get that dopamine like hit, like kind of from the exercise. And those are the people who need it the least.
yes, I was that guy. I actually like I used to do the rowing machine races. Like I had it was kind of like the a Peloton bike, but it was a rowing machine. I still have it, but I haven't touched it in years. But I would get on there, do races, and like I was like winning like races on there like crazy. And I'm like, okay, I gotta stop this because like I get super competitive and that just makes it even worse. So it's just like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yep. And it like feels really good. I was addicted to exercise, so like I totally get it. But usually those people already not eating enough because they're the high achievers. They're like, hey, I'm just gonna eat less and move more and do all this stuff. And the amount of stress that their bodies have and the amount like it affects their sleep, affects their energy levels, all the things. And so inherently, like you said, your body kind of adapts to it, and it's like I need to down regulate other things. So maybe you lose your libido, maybe you lose your menstrual cycle. Hello, I did from all of that. So it's like, and people like our bodies are very complicated, but like the key thing like we're talking about is like stress is a huge factor. And so doing all of these things like reducing calories, increasing cardio and stuff, that's going to impact your body. Your body's going to try to adapt to it. And because of the other stressors, it has to, well, adapt. And so, anyway, I'm just talking in circles now, but
No,
hopefully,
it 100%, it makes sense to me. I don't know if it's gonna make sense to everybody else, but I hope it does. But absolutely, like, and that's the thing that happened to me too. Like when I was like, holy crap, like I need to do all this rowing, and I wasn't sleeping worth a crap. My testosterone was like in the 300s, and just by sleeping, laying off the cardio, and like strength training and focusing on whole foods, I bumped that from 300 to like 550. So it definitely helps, like with your hormones too, like in such a big way. It's just
yeah.
all these little things add up, and it's like more than you realize.
Yep. And like everything is connected. I mean, your body is one thing. So if, you have a lot of stress that's like physiological stress or mental stress or all the things, they all impact each other. And so I try to get people to understand that, because it's like, it's weird, like with the cardio, it like feels good. Like you're like, after you have all this dopamine and you're like, I just did this cool thing, but it's not serving them in the long term. And I'm not like against cardio. I just notice the people that come to me, that's like the last thing that they need. Um, and so depending on the person, it can be integrated well into their lifestyle, depending on for body composition, not ideal. Um, but it's usually the last thing they need.
Oh,
So
definitely. Yeah, like this, not this month, but the next month will be the first time I've actually done any structured cardio out of aside from walking in like 2 years, because I've just been like that into getting myself back to where I need to be. So it's like, and it's going to be a short burst. It's going to be like 1 month, like a couple of short 10, 12 minute sessions, and that's all I'm going to do just for that last bit of that cut. And then I'm going straight back to maintenance and then bulking. So,
my coach, so I hired a coach, and he is different styled coach. So I've been doing a little bit of cardio here and there, but so when I started, I did it for a month. Then I haven't done it since, but we're starting it up again. And so I've been doing like zone 2. But I'm going to compete in powerlifting. So he's coached people through that. So I'm gonna see how strong I can get and stuff. Anyway, so I have been doing some, and it's kind of weird because I don't. Most people can't integrate that into their day, and you kind of have to consistently do it. And so my clients, I don't make any of them do cardio, uh, except for walking. Walking is technically cardiovascular. It's just a lot less intense, so it manages the stress. What we're talking about.
yes. Yes.
Yeah. So it's interesting to do stuff that you don't do with your clients, but I guess I'm trying to compete in something, so it's a little different. It's not like body
Yeah, for sure.
composition. Yeah. But
Yeah,
oh, sorry.
no, another thing about walking though, and a lot of people don't realize this, I'm actually kind of coaching my mom right now because
That's
she found out
awesome.
she's gonna be she's like on the pre-diabetes thing, like
Uh,
right on the verge, and I'm like, okay, mom, we're gonna try something. She's like 60 something years old, so I'm like, all right, all I want you to do is start walking after meals, and it's just like that alone is just doing so much good for her. So she's doing like 10-minute walks after meals, no strength training or anything. She's got like fractured back, so I don't want to do anything like that with her, but it's like she's done that. She started with Whole Foods, and it's like, oh my God, mom, you're a badass. And it's just like, it makes me so happy to see her like thriving.
that's awesome. Yeah, I was so I have a client that they're offboarding, and I'm very sad. It's a cute older couple. They're in their mid 70s. Um, and they were like hardly eating anything. So I basically reverse dieted them without actually having them track their calories, because technology was difficult for them. So all our meetings were phone calls. They didn't know how to. They don't have a smartphone, so they couldn't use my coaching app. Um, but just like increasing their protein and then walking, and their clothes started to fit better. They had more energy. They slept better. The scale like hardly changed, but like they got leaner and they had more. And it's like this thing, it like works, you know. And the other cute thing, to get their steps in, they would dance together.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, walking underrated. I think that like if you could only pick one thing, like walking.
Yes. Honestly, walking and like switching over to Whole Foods, that alone, like I tell everybody, like everybody focuses on protein, but I am like a firm believer that if you walk, hit your protein and hit a fiber goal, that's gonna like get rid of so many of your problems right there. Like
Yep.
you're already doing better than 90% of the people in America if you just do that.
Yep. Yeah. Like most, so I went through a functional nutrition and metabolism like cert thing. And basically how I structured my program was right. I just needed more knowledge on how to do like blood work, stool analysis, those sort of things. But anyway, most problems are lifestyle. Like basically it just reaffirmed my belief that most people's problems, they don't sleep enough, they eat too much crap, not enough protein, not enough fiber, not enough water, no strength training, not enough walking. You fix those things, most people's problems go away.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like I feel like sleep is so underrated.
Yes.
Like,
It's
oh my God.
it's like the foundation of health. And it's the hardest thing to get people to change.
Definitely.
Oh
It,
man.
it it's crazy. Like I honestly like I've noticed like physical effects. Like I used to get like I live in Michigan and it gets like really dark here like all the time. So like I was getting like the seasonal affect disorder, and all I
Oh,
changed up was my sleep and started popping some vitamin D. And next thing you know, like my mood changed, like everything was just like I was like happy go lucky. My wife's like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I'm just in a great mood." Like playing with my kid and like just like super positive dad mode. And she's like, "Are you okay?" Like he's like throwing a fit, and I'm like, "Okay, buddy, we're gonna go do this instead." And like just being super dad, and she's like, "Are you okay?" He's just freaking out, and I'm like, "No, trust me, I got this. You go do your thing." Like just that alone just like gives you that like the mood changes, just that alone is worth it.
yep. It's it's crazy. And it's hard because usually the people who can't sleep well are like very anxious and chronic stress cases.
Oh,
It's a,
definitely.
it's the hard they're the hardest people to help with that. But I mean once you do it, a game changer. I was like I would sleep like 4 hours a night as a D1 athlete, and obviously I would fall asleep in all my classes. But it just doesn't make any sense. Like I look back, I'm like, this is absurd. But once like my junior and senior year, I started like sleeping 7 hours every night. And wouldn't you know, I stopped falling asleep in class. I had a better mood. I had better energy levels. I was playing water polo better. I was better to be around. It's like crazy. Like people don't understand because they haven't experienced it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And it's just like one of those things where it's just like most people don't realize it, and it's like you don't even have to like get the full 8 hours. You get seven, you're almost there. And people don't realize like how big like the sleep hygiene is. Like I didn't realize it until I started cutting off food at like 7 o'clock, and then like cutting off the fluids at 8. That alone put me in such a good state to sleep. It was just like I was out like a light. And then, I took some magnesium, got that regulated, and it's just like, oh my God, my wife's like looking at me at like 9 o'clock, and I'm like ready to just nod out. And are you good? "Yeah, I'm great." She'll be up for like another hour, like trying to fall asleep, and I'm just, oh,
The same here. The same here. I well, oftentimes I'll fall asleep when we're watching a show. I feel bad for my husband. He's always like, so I'll like lean on him because it's comfortable, it's relaxing, and then he's like, "You're gonna fall asleep." I'm like, "No, I promise, I'm not gonna fall asleep." Every time it's the same thing. Uh,
yeah, I'm more like, yeah, I'm going to bed. I don't even know. I know what's happening. I'm out. Have fun.
yeah, I'm I kind of like because I'll fall asleep and then it'll be like 9:15. I'll be like, "Oh, okay, it's bedtime." And he's like, "Dude, you just missed the whole thing." And I'm like, "I don't care. We gotta like go to bed now." But yes, it's a huge game changer, and most people are deficient in magnesium. So if your sleep sucks, give it a try. game changer.
Yes, especially if you time it right. Like, I don't agree a lot with nutrient timing, but like, I swear to God, like, I take it when I have dinner at like 6 o'clock. That gives it enough time to actually get in there and get some fats with it, get it absorbing really good. And that is just such a game changer. And make sure it's right form. Get some magnesium glycinate, I believe it is.
Yep, magnesium
Not
glycinate. Mm-hmm.
yes, yes.
Yep, and yeah, you're right. Like with dinner, that's when I've been taking it, and I noticed like this is like perfect timing because it's like 8. Because I go to bed at like 9-ish, 9:15. It's like 8:30. I'm kind of like winding down, and it's like 8:50, and I'm like almost falling asleep, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. So
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize either. Like the stuff they get in the store, it's like my wife. She was like, I'm looking for magnesium, and we're going into like their little Walmart and stuff like that. And I'm like, nope, nope. She's like, this is magnesium. No, it isn't. I mean, it is technically, but no, we're leaving that because it's not going to absorb right. So you really gotta look and make sure you have the right stuff because some of it's pointless.
yep, third party tested, GMP certified, and there's well, not, I don't want to do commercials, but if you're interested in the brands that I recommend, hit me up on Instagram and I'll let you know because there's a lot of crappy ones out there. But I don't want my podcast to be an ad. I started listening to one today. This is last candidate, but it was like he started the conversation, then it's like boom, ad. 5 minutes later, conversation, boom, ad. And I'm like, I don't even want to listen to this anymore. Like I was kind of interested in the topic, and I'm like, I,
Yeah,
anyway,
no, there's definitely a time and a place for it, but it's like right in the middle, like, okay, you
yeah.
start getting good and then all of a sudden buy my stuff. Like, okay, whatever, dude.
It's like the ones who do it right, they do it like towards the end or the beginning, or like it's like a break before another section of the show, and that works. But if you're doing
Yeah.
it in the middle of the conversation, anyway,
No,
um,
I totally agree. I was just gonna say, like, if you listen to like Mind Pump lately, Sal is like on point with that. He'll just be like, "Hey, really quick, I got this," and then it's like, "Okay, back to the show." I'm like, "Hey, man, Sal's goaded."
yeah, I appreciate that it's short and sweet because there's it's like 2 minutes. Like this show, like the ads were like 2 minutes long, and I'm like, you're gonna lose listeners because it's like the show is kind of popular and it didn't have ads and now it got ads and I'm like, this is terrible. Like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, and if you're gonna do ads, have it like, quick, short and sweet, and relevant to what you're doing. Otherwise, yeah, that's the crazy part.
Yep. Anyway, on that note, what would you like to leave our audience with?
I just like the big thing I just want people to understand is you don't have to go all in when you're starting, but also when you've been through everything, you gotta like slowly ease back. It's just I don't know. It's just one of those philosophies. I'm like on both ends of I've been on both ends of this, so it's like, a lot of people that are adapted don't start with a diet. Like start fixing your metabolism first because that's going to make things so much easier for you. And it just the long run is just play the what you know as the slow game is actually the fast game.
Yep. Sustainable change takes time, but it's the quickest way to get there for sure. Yep. That was a great way to end the show. So, where can our audience find you?
I am on I'm on Instagram as the Brian Hurst 86. Nine or no, actually it's just Uplifted Fitness on Facebook, and I have a private community, Uplifted Fitness with Coach Hurst on Facebook as well. And I started a TikTok,
Oh,
Brian.Hurst27 on TikTok. And I will be starting a podcast of my own soon. I've already recorded the first episode. I don't have a name for it. So if you're interested, follow me on my socials and I'm sure you'll figure that out. So I will definitely be announcing that when it happens.
I will add those in the show notes, the ones I can find. And yeah, give him a follow. He's a great coach. Appreciate him being on here and sharing his story. I think there's a lot of gems in this one. So if this resonated with you, please rate the show, like the show, subscribe. It helps us get in front of more people and kind of shift through or stick out of the BS that's out there, I guess is a better way to say it. And if this resonated with you, share it. Share it with a friend. Share it with somebody who you think could use a reverse diet, who you think is metabolically adapted, who you think has been chronic dieting. Sometimes it might be offensive, but that might be what helps them get out of their own way. So anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.